right, let's welcome back to MidPoint now the research director of the European Leadership Network, Lukasz Kulesa, and also welcome defense columnist, analyst for the Russian newspaper The New Gazette, Pavel Felgenhauer. Lukasz, we've got our audio reconnected here. Let me move forward here and just ask you this. Everything we've talked about, I understand that you don't believe that we are in a Cold War here, but let's bring this down to a possible end result. Do you believe that Vladimir Putin, the military, the people behind him, are at this point so ready to undertake this fight, if you will, with the West again, that they would be ready to go nuclear or to go to war?
Well, let me start by saying that it's slightly worrying that there is a better connection with Moscow than in London. It might say something about the transatlantic link, but more seriously, and to your question, right now there is a massive upsurge of the Russian propaganda connected with nuclear weapons. President Putin was kind enough to remind us at least twice that Russia is a nuclear power and it should be treated seriously. You got some people in the media, some experts connected, so-called experts connected with various military-related portals saying how strong Russia is and what it can do with its nuclear weapons. I believe it's still mainly posturing, that the Russian leadership understands the costs of a nuclear war or a nuclear conflict with the United States. But you might still see some slight changes. You might see a change of the Russian military doctrine with slightly more importance for nuclear weapons. You got, of course, continuation of the modernization programs involving the Russian strategic forces. You might see some units with nuclear-capable weapons being moved towards the West, but there is plenty of propaganda. There is a lot of huffing and puffing, but we are not there yet.
Pavel, if you will, cut through some of the huffing and puffing here from Russia right now. Is this, in your opinion, posturing, or are indeed the Russian military leaders simply ready to go to war because they see that as inevitable?
Well, the mutually assured destruction is still there, but during the Cold War, it was a very well-known tactic and used by both sides very effectively. It's it's called in Russian balancing on the brink of nuclear war. In English, it's brinksmanship, a phrase coined by John Foster Dulles, which means basically nuclear blackmail. And that's what the only actual effective way that Russia can use its nuclear weapons, into which we have sunk enormous amounts of money, and using them actually as weapons would mean the end of everything. But using them for blackmail works, and had worked during the Cold War. It will work most likely again. So now we're demonstrating our capabilities, demonstrating our strategic bombers flying around Europe, telling the Europeans that if they continue to back the United States, they can get into trouble, maybe even nuclear trouble. But if they move away from America and go for some kind of Finlandization of Europe, then everything is going to be nice. They'll earn a lot of money trading in Russian resources, and they can live their own lives as long as they move away from the United States. So this is nuclear blackmail, and it's worked before, it worked again, and it's right now in full swing.
Okay, I've only got about a minute left. I need 30 seconds from both of you, please. Pavel, I'll stay with you. How should the President of the United States, whether it's Barack Obama or anybody else, right now deal with Vladimir Putin to get this thing back on a peaceful slide?
Well, there's no possibility right now of a long-term political solution, but it's possible to have a ceasefire. So better have a kind of Gaza-type ceasefire than continued fighting in Ukraine.
Ceasefire even before the guns start firing, correct?
Well, they're still firing all the time right now there. There's no frozen conflict. It's a continuing war of attrition, which has the possibility to escalate.
All right, Lukasz, to you then. President, be it Obama or what, can they do anything now to get to Putin and slow this down?
In Ukraine, ceasefire, yes. But more globally, when it comes to nuclear things, the US president can show that the two can play this game. that the United States is also a nuclear weapon state, that it has a security relationship with Europe that also includes a nuclear umbrella over the NATO allies. So I think there's plenty of things that the US president can do also to bolster deterrence and assuring the people in Europe who are afraid about the situation.
Unfortunately, it looks like we are right back at MAD, mutually assured destruction, and maybe it never went away. Lukasz Kulesa, Pavel Felgenhauer, gentlemen, thank you so much for your comments. I will look forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you.
All right, we're back after a break here on MidPoint. As we spin to that part of the world we see danger in at almost every corner, Iran and their nuclear possibilities.